What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Well, you guys should be refreshed after just seeing my FIFA 21 score predictions. We're now here with my official score predictions. I would have kept my predictions quiet on stream so that you guys can wait until straight after the stream. It is my predictions. It's now my turn to be in the firing line. Now, obviously, we did have some midweek games. If you got a correct score, your comment will be on the screen right now. A couple of you did. Well done for that. This is another week of 0 correct scores and FIFA 21 beating me once again, getting 2 correct scores. Lexus Hall of Fame now looks like this. Now, I need to definitely get some scores right, otherwise just your food will overtake me. Charlie Brown's looking very close. Even FIFA 21 is looking very close right now. I have got a load of competition coming up, so I've got to get some correct predictions today. If you guys like what you see, want to see more championship content, please make sure you do give this video a like, it's tremendously appreciated. If you haven't done and you're new around here, welcome to the channel. My name is Alex. I do championship and football content as often as I can. If you haven't done, it would really be appreciative if you can hit that subscribe button. It would really make my day. We're on 312 as of recording right now. Let's push for 500 before Christmas. I definitely think it's possible. And to increase the popularity, please share my channel to your social medias, to friends, to other championship YouTubers, to championship fans. It would really make my day. But without any further ado, let's start predicting this weekend's games. So we start off with tonight's 7 PM kickoff. Coventry going up against Reading. Coventry right now are in the bottom 3, conceding 16 goals, which is the joint most goals alongside with Wycombe Wanderers. If there's anything that they need to do, they need to fix their defence as soon as they can. They're playing against a Reading side that don't look like they're going to drop points anytime soon. They're still unbeaten in the league, only dropping 2 points so far out of a possible 24, which is absolutely incredible for Reading. And even with all the injuries that I have with Yeardom and John Swift, they still find a way to win. It looks like Ajaria may be injured for this game, which I think will be a bit of a blow. But I think Michael O'Lees, if Lucas Giles as good as he was, I think he could be definitely really good. Josh Lauren, who scored that wonder strike, that would be my goal of midweek, by the way. Rena Motta, everyone's been so good for Reading right now. In fact, even with all the injuries, I don't see Reading slowing down anytime soon. Of course, Coventry, I feel, do play better at home, but despite that, I think their confidence has taken a bit of a knock lately, following that they are on a string of consecutive defeats. So in hindsight, I'm going to predict Reading to win this one once again. I'm going to say a 1-0 away victory to Reading. I think, despite this being the live game, I think this will be a very cagey game. Of course, if you saw the live stream just beforehand, you would know what FIFA 21 has predicted. So the early Saturday game is Bristol City going up against Norwich City right now, both with absolutely equal points and records, with 4 wins, 2 draws and 2 defeats, 14 points each. This is going to really test Bristol City to see if they can sustain their positive start. Norwich right now have just been in around there near the pack. They're just outside the top 6, although Bristol City have taken that 6th place. It's 6th versus 7th. If anyone gets a positive result, they can swap each other's places, which is really huge for both sides actually. Bristol City, the only reason why I'm being a little less confident is their injuries. It's a shame they've lost Vyman, and of course, they're going to lose Mawson and Sessegnon for a substantial amount of time as well. Although, albeit they still got a very talented squad in front of them, I think Chris Martin's been fantastic. Naki Wells, as always, has been really good. And a special shout out goes to Tyreek Backinson. Lately, he has been very, very good going forward. And he's been someone who I feel has been a little bit quiet. But actually, this season, I feel like he's really stepped up. With Norwich right now, they're staying with the chasing pack at the moment. Definitely their performances are not at their peak, but I think for the fact that they're still competing, the fact they're still not playing their best, it just goes to show how strong this Norwich squad is. Norwich have been salvaging late draws in 4 consecutive games. Could this be game number 5? Well, I don't think either side will win. I think this would be a 1-1 draw. I really can't separate the two sides right now. Whether Bristol City take an early lead and Norwich equalise later on, I wouldn't be surprised. And of course, this is your FIFA 21 stream, you would know what they have predicted. Now to the 3 o'clocks, we start off with Bournemouth versus Derby, completely opposite sides of the spectrum in terms of the table. Bournemouth still unbeaten, Derby with 5 defeats in their first 8 games. It's just not great, isn't it? Bournemouth right now, they're proving to have a little bit of resilience about them. And actually, despite being on the back foot against Bristol City in the first half, they stepped up. They've got a real strong mental character, and I can see that. And they are playing for Jason Tindall. And it's one of the most attractive sides I've seen in the Championship so far. I think I was definitely wrong to undermine them with my Championship table predictions at the start of the season. With Derby right now, maybe I've overestimated them. You would not have believed that I predicted Derby to finish higher than Bournemouth in my table predictions. because right now, Derby, I would say, for the fact they've got Waghorn and Tom Lawrence back, they're still improving their performances. They're still not quite sustaining leads. I don't know if they'll get Wayne Rooney back. I think he may still be isolating. If that's not the case, then I think having him back will be very, very important. But whether he's back for this game or not, Derby still need to rely on Martin Waghorn and Tom Lawrence to produce the goods. And I don't think they could just simply do it by themselves. I think the transition from midfield to the strikers is not quite good enough as well. They lose that battle way too easily. And their defence as well has been questioned a couple of times as well. And Bournemouth, with the attacking players they have with Danjuma, Solanke going forward, they can definitely expose that. This is a very tight game. Derby have a very strong record against Bournemouth. That was when they were starting to climb up the leagues. So I'm not too sure what to predict here. I was thinking a 1-1 again, although I predicted a load of 1-1 draws this weekend, just to see if I could get a correct score, because I feel like we'll guarantee a 1-1 draw somewhere. I'm actually going to edge Bournemouth for this one. I'm more confident, but they'll still remain unbeaten. I'm going to say 2-1 Bournemouth, but I'm not surprised if Derby can get a result because they're so capable of shocking the world. They did it against Norwich, a recently relegated side. They could easily do it against Bournemouth as well. And of course, if you saw FIFA 21's live stream, you would have known what FIFA 21 had predicted as well. We now have Barnsley going up against Watford. Barnsley have got their first win of the season under their new manager, Valerian Ismail. I actually think he'll be a fantastic fit for Barnsley right now. I think they were heavily helped back. Queens Park Rangers went down to 10 men. But even then, their performances were pretty good, actually. They stayed in the game with Queens Park Rangers. I think they were peppering Barnsley a little bit with chances, but they defended deep and they really punished Queens Park Rangers. And they looked very dangerous every time they went forward. And Watford would need to be a bit wary of that because Watford recently has seemed to stumble a little bit. Not losing games, but they're dropping points from winning positions. They did it against Bournemouth and they also did it against Wycombe. Watford cannot afford to do that again if they want to try and keep in the chasing pack. They've fallen down to 5th place, but still with 15 points, they're doing quite well at the moment. Barnsley, with that first win, projected them up the table, and I think if they can get a second win here, which I think will be quite difficult, Barnsley could really start to project up the table. Both sides are going to play with 2 strikers up top with Chaplin and Woodrow, and I believe they'll have Pedro and Sarr starting for Watford. We could see many goals, but I do think they'll take their defences into account. I was thinking 0-0 actually, but I'm going to say 1-1. Again, a 1-1 draw. I can definitely see it with this game. Watford could easily hold on because they've proven to be very strong at the back, only conceding 4 goals so far this season. But having said that, I think Barnsley will definitely test them. I'm going to say 1-1. And of course, if you saw FIFA 21's live stream, you would know what they have predicted. Now to a big jump in the alphabet. We've got Luton going up against Brentford. Both of these sides, I feel like doing pretty okay-ish starts, but obviously with different expectations. Luton, 9th place right now, already with 4 wins in their hand with 13 points. I mean, I remembered at the start of last season where Luton really struggled to get a win. Brentford not too far behind though, still with 3 wins, but already 3 defeats already. And they're proving to be a little bit inconsistent. Their performances are up there, but Brentford right now need to try and fix that consistency and consistently win and climb up the table because they've definitely got the squad for it. Eve Antoni's looking very, very dangerous. I think he'll definitely have a battle with Adam Armstrong to try and get the championship top goal scorer. I think it'll be a very interesting 2-way competition there. In terms of this game though, very different results last year. We had Brentford like completely dismantling Fulham by 7-0 at their place. But then Luton turn it around at Kenilworth Road, getting a 2-1 victory. I remember it was quite a controversial game actually. And with this game, I think it'll be just as tight. But I'm anticipating Brentford to win this one. Normally when Brentford don't have a good result, they turn it around. I'm going to say they get a 2-1 victory. But I'm not ruling out Luton at all. With the attacking players they got, James Collins returning from getting a COVID-19 test, he can definitely be key for Luton's side. Impanzu's doing really well. And of course, if you saw FIFA 21's live stream, you would know what they have predicted as well. Next up, we've got Middlesbrough going up against Nottingham Forest. When I look at these 2 teams straight away, I think defence, 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 which always makes me think 0-0. But we've got to think about this here. Middlesbrough right now doing unbelievably well, unbeaten in 7 games, not lost a game since the opening day of the season. Neil Warnock is doing bits. I can't believe, like, I put Middlesbrough 14th, I believe, in my championship table predictions. Why did I undermine Neil Warnock at all, even with any side he has? He just knows how to get a drill defence. Nottingham Forest have recovered a little bit. They've not been beaten in their last 4 games. However, they have dropped a couple of points as well. They recovered the points against Luton when they were behind in that game. But definitely with the dominance they had, they definitely should have tried to kill the game off. And I feel like definitely against this Middlesbrough side, they're not going to find it easy to get anything more than a point, potentially even a loss, because Middlesbrough right now, full of confidence, beating Coventry by 2-0. With this game, I think it'll be very, very tight. A lot of the time, we get draws in this game. Nottingham Forest having a slightly stronger record in their last 6 meetings. But I'm going to say a 1-1 draw again. I was thinking 0-0. But I'm going to say 1-1. I'm going to back each side to score 1 goal. If you saw FIFA 21 last year, you would know what they have predicted to. Next game we have is Millwall going up against Huddersfield. Millwall right now are in 3rd place, pushing for top 2. Millwall pushing for automatic promotion. I never thought I'd hear today. They've only lost 1 game this season, which of course was that really tragic game against Swansea City. But Millwall right now are performing incredibly well. They're doing unbelievably well in terms of keeping their defence very, very tight as well. It's very difficult to play against this Millwall side. And you know what? It's because they've got their full squad out. Apart from Troy Power, who's still recovering from an injury, the fact they've got their full squad out, I think is key. Getting a 2-0 victory against Preston and the ease they had, they were completely dominant as well. They definitely deserved their win. Kenneth Zahor getting his first goal for Millwall. And of course, Jed Wallace scoring a penalty, which I think was very dubious at the end. Then we go to Huddersfield, where right now, definitely their performances have improved with 3 wins already this season, although they have struggled a little bit. Recently losing out to Birmingham, which managed to give them their first win since the opening day of the season. Definitely didn't perform too bad, we're definitely the better side, but they've got to be drilled defensively. They can have all the dominance in the world, but if they don't take chances and they're not defensively solid, teams will punish you, and that's exactly what Birmingham did. The way I'll see this game, Huddersfield will have a load of the ball. It's just going to be a question if they can break this Millwall side down. And we've proven that Millwall are a very difficult side to break down this season, so there's no guarantees that they'll be able to do that. I'm anticipating a few more goals in this game. I think definitely Huddersfield may even take a shock lead, maybe. But I think Millwall, with the experience, the confidence that they have, and I think they may have Gary Rowett back, maybe not, as of course he was tested positive for COVID-19. I'm going to say a 2-1 victory to Millwall. I definitely think they have enough to get past Huddersfield, but there's no way ruling Huddersfield off. We already saw them beat Swansea away by 2-1, which was an incredible underdog result. They can easily do the same with Millwall. And of course, if you saw the FIFA 21 live stream, you would have known what FIFA 21 I predicted. Next up, we've got Preston going up against Birmingham. The only side still to score a goal and to get a single point at home. Preston fans must be thinking, are we ever going to get a point or even a win at home or even a goal at home? And my response to that, if there's any side that I think you should try and get a point or a goal, it's going to be this Birmingham side. But, and this is a big but, Birmingham are going to be very tough to break down. They've only lost 2 games this season so far for a reason. They are very, very tough to break down. But my issue is with this game, despite Preston scoring 0 goals at home, Birmingham have only scored 5 goals this season, only 1 open play goal as well. So either way, if any side's going to win it, it's probably going to be from a set piece or maybe a penalty. But overall, with the pattern of the game, I think despite Birmingham having their strong squad, having Jukovic and Hogan up front, and then Preston potentially having Reece Jacobson, who was fantastic against Queensborough Rangers, but against Millwall, he was nowhere to be seen. He was completely isolated. So with this game, I'm scared to say it, but I think it's going to be a 0-0 draw. Preston will be pleased they got their first point at home, but I do think this will be a stalemate. And of course, if you saw FIFA 21's live stream, you would have known what they have predicted. Next game we have is Queensborough Rangers versus Cardiff. And I'm feeling very nervous for Queensborough Rangers right now. They've not scored a single goal in their last 4 games. I think they're now starting to feel the repercussions of trying to fill the void of Eberechi Eze and of course losing Naki Wells and Jordan Hugo. And it just seems to be all doom and gloom right now following that they've lost Luke Amos to the rest of the season. And they're not going to have Robbie Dickey for this game following that red card against Barnsley. They're going to be very heavily exposed. And with the Cardiff side, who have a very strong away record, they can definitely take a load of positivity in terms of this game. Cardiff are going on a little bit of an unbeaten run, but they're not picking up many points out of it. They're only 14th place on the table, already drawing 4 games out of their last 8. So Cardiff seem to be the king of draws right now at the moment. But I look at their squad and I'm looking at Shea Ojo, who's been brilliant in the past 2 or 3 games. Kiefer Moore, who's also been up there as well. Lee Tomlin definitely delivering performances, and Harry Wilson looking promising in places. I'm thinking Cardiff is going to be the stronger team here, and that'll be a surprise because if you remember last year, Queensborough Rangers beat Cardiff 6-1 at the Kieran Prince Stadium, but I think Cardiff will get their win. I'm going to say a 1-0 away victory, but Queensborough Rangers can easily get a result, but I think Cardiff right now, with just the better squad, the better confidence on an unbeaten run, I think they'll take a win in this game. And if you saw FIFA 21's live stream, you would have known what FIFA 21 predicted. The next game to go over is Stoke versus Rotherham. Stoke right now are proving to be a side that can perform well, but they're a little bit inconsistent. Already having 2 defeats so far this season, they have lost, to be fair, to pretty good opposition. Of course, they recently lost to Swansea. The thing I'm concerned with, they didn't have a single shot on target. They didn't even give me intent that they looked like that they were ever going to win this game. And the fact that was the case, that is what's really making me a little bit concerned about Stoke. Rotherham right now are proving to be a side that actually can prove to actually get some points on the board. They won against Sheffield Wednesday, which was a very bizarre game. Of course, it was halted for a drone. And then they beat Sheffield Wednesday, their Yorkshire rivals, by 3-0. But following this game, I think this will be close. Their last 2 meetings ended 2-2. Very entertaining draws. Do I think we'll see a draw? You know what? I'm thinking yes. Because Stoke right now, even though I probably may edge them, Rotherham just look like a side that has proven to have a bit of resilience, a little bit of hunger about them, and they just refuse to not get anything less than a point. And I think that's exactly what they'll do with Stoke. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. I might be wrong on this, but overall, I could definitely see it happening. And if you saw FIFA 21's live stream, you would have known what they have predicted. The penultimate game is Swansea going up against Blackburn. Now, I correctly predicted for one really entertaining game in midweek, and I'm almost edging that this one's going to be the entertaining game in terms of the weekend. I'm definitely liking the goal scoring that Swansea and Blackburn are having right now. Their attacking players have so much talent. With Swansea, they've got Lowe, Ayew, Palmer, who was terrific against Stoke, obviously gained his first goal for Swansea. But what's been really good about Swansea is their tight defence. They've only lost 1 game so far this season, which of course was that shock defeat against Huddersfield Town. 15 points right now. If they can get a good result, they could be in the top 2 by the end of this weekend. Blackburn, definitely some attacking performances, definitely probably one of the best in the Championship. But right now, it's that back 4, Niam, Williams, Nenihan and Rankin Costello. If they were to improve and to actually tighten a couple things up, I think Blackburn could definitely be one of the favourites. They're 12th place right now, but the reason being is that they've already lost 4 games due to their poor defensive performances, which was the case against Reading. I mean, their first goal they conceded in 9 seconds in, the defending there was just all over the place. But with this game, I think we'll definitely see goals, but I definitely think we'll see some cracked defences as well. I'm thinking maybe Blackburn may get a victory, but I'm actually going to back Swansea for a 2-2 draw. I think this will be a Desmond. And if you saw the FIFA 21 live stream, you would have known what they have predicted as well. Now made it to the final game, and what an important game this could be for both sides. Wycombe and Sheffield Wednesday, 23rd versus 24th, the bottom 2 facing each other. If any of these sides gets a win, I think they can definitely kickstart their season. Wycombe right now, their first point on the board in midweek against Watford. I would have never predicted that they would get their first point of the season against Watford, but alas they did. And it was the first game where Akinfen was started as captain and was leading the line. And I have to say, despite the age of 38, he is still out there causing defences some trouble. He may not be the quickest, but I tell you what, his presence does make defenders quake in their boots a little bit. With Sheffield Wednesday right now, they're in a very poor run of form, not winning in their last 4 games. Actually only picking up only 1 win in their last 6, which is very disappointing, all things considered, that they need to try and get rid of their points deduction. But this is a huge opportunity for Sheffield Wednesday. Out of all the games they've had this season, this is the most important one. If they can get a win, they'll be on -1 points, but only 2 points behind Wycombe Wanderers going into the next batch of midweek games. And I think when Sheffield Wednesday overtake their first team, their momentum will be sky high. But Wycombe right now look like that they are really riding high with confidence. Their performances just look like they're getting better and better each game. My only concern is for how much can they actually take in terms of their mental strength and their stamina, because they can't be performing at a high level every single week. They're definitely going to have a blip now and again, but they cannot afford to go on a really poor run of form again. Now with this game, I'm really struggling to make a result here. I did have Sheffield Wednesday to win this one, but I've changed my mind. I'm going to say a 1-1 draw. I think this will be very, very entertaining. Probably very cagey, actually. But I'm going to say 1-1. And if you saw FIFA 21's live stream, you would have known what their prediction was. So that is all my score predictions for the Championship Match Day 9. And of course, with tradition on this channel, I also predict the Premier League fixtures. I'm predicting Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays games. I'm not going to do the 2 Monday games just yet. I'm going to predict them when I do my Championship review. Let's predict the Premier League games. So we'll start off with Wolves and Crystal Palace. I'm going to say a 2-1 victory to Wolves. I think they have got enough within them. Sheffield United, Man City. Sheffield United were great against Liverpool, but unfortunately I don't think they'll play well against City. I think 2-0 City. Burnley, Chelsea. I'm a bit nervous. I feel like I'm always going to be nervous being a Chelsea fan, but I think we should have enough. But there's no guarantee. Burnley can definitely win this. I'm going to say 2-1 Chelsea. Liverpool, West Ham, I'm going to say 2-2. West Ham right now just seem to be getting points from unlikely sources, and I think they'll do the same against Liverpool. Aston Villa, Southampton, I'm going to say 1-1. Newcastle, Everton, okay, I'm thinking 0-0, but actually I'm going to say 1-0 Everton. Of course, this game last time was very, very dramatic. Man United, Arsenal, now that's the big game. So who's going to win, Man United or Arsenal? I'm just looking at both. Both had really good European results. I'm going to edge Man United for a 2-1 victory because Arsenal have a very poor record against Man United at Old Trafford. I think that will continue. Spurs and Brighton. Spurs losing to Antwerp in the Europa League. Let's see if they can recover against this Brighton side, who will be very well fresh following that they've not played any midweek games. But I think Spurs will have just about enough. I'm going to say 2-1 Spurs. But that's it. That's all the score predictions for today's video. If you guys liked what you see, please make sure you do give this video a like. It's tremendously appreciated. If you're new around here, please subscribe to the channel. It would really, really make my day. Of course, the aim is to get to 500 subscribers before Christmas, but if I get 1,000 subscribers, if anyone you don't know this, I will do a collaboration with BenHD. We've agreed on it. 1,000 subscribers, I'll do a collaboration. So if you want to see that and you have not subscribed, I do heavily encourage you to subscribe. But thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary if you saw the end of this video. And as always, take care.